Hey everybody, this is Evan Rogers coming at you with Evan's Easy Japanese, JLPT N4. I actually already made this video, but I realized that I made a mistake and I gave you guys the wrong answer. Apologies. I didn't bother double checking, and to be quite frank, I'm not getting enough sleep, so apologies. Here we go. Here's the real answer. So let's start from the beginning. We've got number 16 here. Sengetsu mare, until last month. Sengetsu is last month, mare is until. Hanaya ga atta, blank, 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 blank. So this is one of those questions where we have to fill in the 4 blanks and then point out which one of these 4 words goes into the star underline section. I'm just going to skip how to do these because I just basically told you how to do it. And then we have blank, 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 and we have oishii desu. Oishii desu. So inside of the blanks we have, it's going to be either dekita, well at some point dekita will be in the blanks, just not in this order. Dekita, ringo no keiki ga kissaten wa, and basho ni. Okay, so we have the word atta here, which is a verb. Knowing how words go together, it will help us get a whole bunch of this stuff done properly. After atta, you can't really have a verb. So dekita can't work there. So number 1, this first blank cannot be number 1. And then let's look at this. It says sengetsu mare hanaya ga atta. Hanaya. So there was a flower shop until last month. Nouns can come after that, but they have to be described as the noun that there was a flower shop until last month. So apple cakes until where there was a flower shop last month doesn't make any sense. Kissaten, so the coffee shop where there was a flower shop until last month, that almost makes sense. And then here we have a basho ni, which is a location, a place. So a place where there was a flower shop until last month. Bingo bada bingo buda boo. That is the correct answer, okay? That is the correct answer. Sengetsu mare hanaya ga atta basho ni. Then we have a ni particle. That's telling us where something is located. So at the location where there was a flower shop until last month. So what's going on there, okay? What's going on there? We're left over with dekita, ringo no keiki ga kissaten wa, and then we have oishii desu. Okay, so knowing what oishii desu means, what do you think was probably tasty? The thing that was probably tasty, the thing that was delicious is ringo no keiki ga oishii desu. Okay, so the thing that was tasty was ringo no keiki, so it's going to be the last one. The last one here is going to be ringo no keiki ga oishii desu. So the apple cakes are delicious. The apple cakes are delicious. And we now know that the first blank is at the location where there was a flower shop until last month. Something, something, something. The apple cakes are delicious. Okay? That leaves us with dekita and kissaten wa. So basho ni kissaten wa doesn't quite work. Something has to occur or something has to be going on with this dekita. Here's the thing. This is the tricky thing. Dekita is we have another verb, and it's going to be modifying the noun kissaten. When we have a verb going into a noun, just like we did up here, we use one of these relative clauses, one of these relative pronouns. So this is a kissaten, a coffee shop that was constructed, that was completed. Dekita means completed. It can mean formed. It could almost mean constructed in some, finished maybe, completed, finished. So the kissaten is going to be the third blank. So the kissaten that was finished, dekita is the correct answer here, and it was finished in the location basho ni, in the location, and the word location is being modified by hanaya ga atta basho ni. So the place where there was a flower shop until last month. Okay, with that being said, I want to write this sentence down chunk by chunk so you can see how important it is to know that verbs modifying nouns. Okay, here we go.
A few moments later.
Okay, so I opened up a Word document and typed out the sentence so that we can see so I can play with the sentence that was in the PDF. We're going to show you how this mess of words makes sense for those of you out there, because it's a very tricky sentence. I tripped it up. I'm not going to say that it's because it's difficult. I'm going to say it's because I'm just plain old stupid. I didn't get enough sleep, and I'm an idiot. But it is a difficult sentence, and I should have known better. So let's not act like I'm some sort of super genius. I'm going to make mistakes. Okay, so here we go. What we need to focus on here is that verbs modify nouns, okay? So let's do this. So here we have sengetsu made hanaya ga atta. This is one clause, so I'm going to underline it, okay? And then this is sort of another clause, basho ni dekita. And then we have kisaten wa. This is such a mess. Ringo no keiki ga oishii desu. Yeah, this is such a mess. This is such a mess. Okay. All right. So let's start off with that. Okay, this is just such a mess. Sengetsu made hanaya ga atta. There was a flower shop until last month, and that's modifying basho ni. So let's make that the same color. We're gonna add some. Let's add some fun colors. I like fun colors. We'll make it like a teal color. Boom. So sengetsu made hanaya ga atta basho ni. Notice how atta is modifying basho. So this is a place where there was a flower shop until last month. But this is still part of a sentence. So this is basho ni dekita. So something was completed in this in this location. So in this location, something was completed. So now pay attention. I'm gonna highlight all this with a different color. Okay. So hopefully you can see that this is basically one giant noun. This teal area this bluish, greenish, tealish area, that's kind of like one giant noun. So it is a place. It is a place where there was a flower shop until last month. It's a giant noun. We call it a phrase. We're going to call that a phrase. And notice how atta is modifying basho. So it's the place where there was a flower shop until last month. Just like an e adjective, verbs can modify nouns. Let's go further, because we now have basho ni dekita. So this is once again the same dealio. So we're gonna, I don't know, let's do another fun, I just had on no color, more colors. Let's go with, I don't know, a pink color. Pink's fun, right? So now we see sengetsu made hanaya ga atta basho ni dekita. And that by itself could be a complete sentence. That by itself could be a complete sentence. We don't know what the subject is, but something was finished, was completed, dekita. Something was finished, was completed in the location where there was a hanaya until last month, a flower shop until last month. Okay? That is a sentence. That is a sentence. Something was completed in the location where there was a flower shop until last month. Okay? Remember how I told you that we can use verbs to modify nouns? And I just got done saying that like a minute ago, and I said it like a minute before that, and a minute before that, and a minute before that. Well, look, we have dekita going into kisaten. So all of this is another noun phrase. So we used a noun phrase to make a sentence. Well, we used a sentence, a clause, to modify a noun, making a noun phrase. And then we continued with that noun phrase. We used ni dekita to make another sentence, basically another clause. And then we're using that whole super double clause to modify another noun to make a different noun phrase. Let's go with, I don't know, yellow. Hopefully yellow won't ruin everything. Great. So look, sengetsu made hanaya ga atta basho ni dekita kisaten. This is now one giant noun phrase. So this is a coffee shop that was completed in the location where there was a flower shop until last month. We could read this backwards. You can literally read this backwards. The coffee shop, or a coffee shop, that we have to add whenever we see a verb going into a noun. Not whenever, but generally this is something that we do when we're translating. Add the proper relative clause, that or where or when. So let's do this one more again. We're going to read it backwards. The coffee shop that was completed in the location where, once again it's a relative clause, where there was, because atta can translate to there was something. There was a flower shop until last month. Wow. So there was a coffee shop that was completed in the location where there was a flower shop until last month. That is going to be the thing that we're talking about. Let's just make that a different color. I'll make it, I don't know, we'll make it teal. Why not use the same colors? As for this coffee shop that was just completed in the space where there was a flower shop until last month, Ringo no keiki ga oishii desu. And this is the finale of the sentence. This is actually the focus, okay? So notice how it's oishii desu. The information that we really want to communicate is the apple cakes at that location are delicious. So the apple cakes, the Ringo no keiki ga oishii desu. So notice how there's 3 subjects in the sentence. Hanaya ga atta. So notice we have a ga with hanaya. And then we have kisaten wa. And then we have Ringo no keiki ga oishii desu. Okay? So we have Ringo no keiki ga, kisaten wa, and hanaya ga. So let's actually just underline only the subject. So hanaya ga. Oops, it's not working out for me. Boom. Hanaya ga. If we focus on ga's and wa's, it makes a little bit more sense. Okay, so notice how the topic, the chief idea of this sentence is that there is a coffee shop. Okay, that's kind of the chief magunga that we're talking about in the sentence. There is a coffee shop. Okay, that's sort of the reference point. What we're talking about is the kisaten. That's why it gets a wa particle. Okay. So as for the kisaten, this is perfectly synonymous with our normal understanding of wa versus ga, which I'm going to be making a video soon. When I complete it, I'll try to remember to add the video here. Wa puts the emphasis on what comes after it. And not only that, it limits what we're talking about. So as for apple cakes being delicious, that information, the information of apple cakes being delicious, applies only to the kisaten that we're talking about here. Okay? That's what the wa particle is doing. That's it. That's all the wa particle is doing. It's the chief guy that we're talking about. It's the topic of the sentence, and it limits, that's the other important thing, it limits this Ringo no keiki ga oishii desu to this one kisaten. Okay? Okay, let's talk about all these other ga's. All of these other subjects aren't that important. In fact, these are called subordinate clauses. This hanaya ga atta, this isn't really needed in the sentence. If the sentence were just kisaten wa Ringo no keiki ga oishii desu, that would be a complete sentence. There'd be no problems. Again, without everything before kisaten, we have a complete sentence that makes sense. Okay? So that points out that this hanaya ga atta just isn't actually that important. It's a subordinate clause that is helping to modify kisaten. When we have a subordinate clause, we generally use the ga particle to identify the subject. That's one of the functions of the ga particle. Subordinate clauses, subjects, a subordinate clause, a not important information with a subject in it. That's generally what the ga particle does, okay? So this information isn't that important to the sentence, to be quite frank, and thus it is subordinate to the rest of the sentence. It's a subordinate clause. There's a subject that has a verb, hanaya ga atta, so subject verb, that makes it a clause, and that's why we're using a ga there, okay? The actual sentence is just, I'm just going to copy this and bring it down here, so we can see what the actual sentence is. Okay, so the actual, that's just a dumb joke. Excuse me, I'm just having way too much fun with that. The actual sentence is kisaten wa Ringo no keiki ga oishii desu. And I want to discuss this. Think about how weird this sentence is. We kind of have a subject here with kisaten wa, and then we also have a subject here with Ringo no keiki ga oishii desu. Oop, what did I just do? What's kind of happening here, now go with me here, what's kind of happening here is, if you were to ask my true opinion on what's happening in the sentence, first off, this ga is here not because it's a subordinate clause. It's actually very pertinent information to the sentence. This ga is here because oishii desu isn't really what we need to focus on. The fact that it's delicious isn't what we're focusing on. We're focusing on the fact that the apple cakes are what are delicious. So imagine you're talking about a new coffee shop and you're like, oh man, that coffee shop is delicious. That's an okay sentence to make. That's actually the mistake I made in the first video. Oh man, that coffee shop is delicious. That's a totally fine sentence. But now imagine that we want to talk about how good this coffee shop is, and we say the cheesecake is delicious. Adding the fact that there is delicious cheesecake there is sort of what we're focusing on. You know, if you go to a restaurant and you talk about something delicious on the menu, you don't say, oh, the chicken sandwich is delicious. You say, oh man, the chicken sandwich is delicious. That's more of how we say that. So let me say that one more time. If we were to change this ga particle on the sentence that you're looking at right here to a wa, it would be, oh man, that coffee shop, the apple cakes are delicious. And if we keep it a ga, which is the correct thing to do here, obviously because a native person wrote this, it is, oh man, as for that coffee shop, the apple cakes are delicious. The apple cakes are delicious. Notice how we're adding emphasis to the fact that we're talking about the apple cakes that are delicious. It's the apple cakes that are delicious. That's what the ga particle is doing. We're not saying, oh, you know, the apple cakes, they're delicious. We say, the apple cakes are delicious. That's kind of what's happening with this ga particle, okay? You know that coffee shop? The apple cakes are delicious. And everything that came before it was just describing which coffee shop we're talking about. Okay. That's how the wa and the ga particles work. And so this is an important wa versus ga lesson. I'm going to make that the title of this video. Now let's talk about this strange idea that you will eventually have to run into headfirst when you're learning Japanese. This whole sentence, once again, this is a subject with a predicate. A predicate is just an action or a description of the subject. So if we have a subject that does something, I eat pizza is what the subject does. That's a predicate. I am fat and bald. Am fat and bald is a description of the subject. Those are predicates. So we have a subject, ringo no keiki ga, that's the subject. And then oishii desu is a description of that subject, so it makes it a predicate. This is a clause. This is a sentence. I mean, this by itself is a sentence, okay? Ringo no keiki ga oishii desu. The apple cakes are great. This information is a description of kisaten wa. So kisaten, as for the coffee shop, the apple cakes are delicious. That's how the sentence works here with this wa particle. So at some given time in your Japanese, and I'm trying to throw this right at you right here and right now in loud letters, saying, hey guys, I screwed up this sentence too. So that you can all see how important this is. At some point, you have to run to the fact that we're using an entire sentence as a description for a noun that came earlier before it. As for the coffee shop, the apple cakes are delicious. The apple cakes are delicious is describing kisaten, even though the apple cakes is the subject. So I hope this helps you understanding wa and ga. Notice I didn't do any advertisements in this thing because I felt bad about screwing up that last video. I really feel like this is an important video, and I'm going to be making a wa versus ga soon. Have a great day. Once again, sorry I screwed up. I'll try to catch myself in the future. Have a great day. Peace out.